Difficult.
Difficult.
Difficult. Difficult. Difficult. Difficult.
Women.
Hello.
Hey. Oh. How are ya?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. Still here.
Still here.
Managing. My name's Katy.
My name is Marie, and I'm still here too. And together, we make Difficult Women podcast. That's this thing. That's it. This thing in your ears.
Yep. That's what you're listening to if you didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Katie's in Brooklyn. I'm in Nashville because the world is fucked up.
Oh, yeah. Everything is fucked. Everything is fucked.
Oh, God. Speaking of fucked, I have a chicken update.
Oh, God. What happened?
The chickens are dead, you guys.
Your friends are real good at taking care of chickens. It sounds like y'all are doing a spectacular.
Not my chickens. Just want to put that out there. Not my chickens. No, we had a travesty on the farm. This isn't a farm. It's the fucking suburbs, but I'm getting out.
Backyard.
Don't worry. It's a backyard. You put a New Yorker in the suburbs, this is what happens. The chickens get eaten. No,
I was going to say, this is a good reason why people shouldn't get chickens in their backyard.
Yeah.
Just for the eggs.
They can't, you can't. Anyway, I could go on and on about the chickens, but basically what happened was, I guess they were maybe escaped from the chicken coop. Maybe the chicken coop was left open by my roommate. I don't know what happened. I hope she's not listening. We had a big fight about it. But basically, two of the chickens were eaten by a predator. And when you put it like that, it sounds really cool. Like some predator came out of the woods and ate them. Because I like shark movies. But this was real life. And the feathers are all over the neighbor's yard.
Oh, good. Someone's like dog or something, you think? Or
a coyote, a fox, a chicken
you have
hawk.
coyotes in Nashville?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Lots of coyotes. Yeah. I texted Katie, like, crying, basically. So upset about it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had fried chicken last night, so I can't be that upset.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. I think that we're all romanticize this idea of having chickens in our backyard. Not all of us, but many of us.
Yes.
I know we've had conversations like, oh, I'd love to have chickens. I'd love to have chickens. But then the reality of chickens is you have to take care of them. You can't just exploit them for their eggs. I know we come from America and we're used to exploiting lesser versions, lesser creatures or people we think of as lesser. But
Right.
listen, guys, you can't just exploit your chickens and just expect them to take care of themselves, huh? You got to give your chickens some relief funds during the coronavirus.
Yeah, dear God, please.
You have to take care of us chickens. Anyway, how is everybody doing? I'm relating to the chickens. I'm relating to the chickens.
So anyway, there won't be any more chicken updates because they're gone. So
yeah, well,
I was done talking about them anyways. I didn't mean for them to get eaten, so I'd be done with them. But here we are.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm
what
sorry.
else is going on?
I don't know. It's funny because I've been thinking about, so we're getting more and more lockdown, they shut down indoor dining in New York. Not that I was participating in that anyway, but, and I think we're all kind of feeling it. It's like coming. The big lockdown in New York is coming. So, I've been ruminating, especially in light of our last episode about seasonal depression. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to just be so alone here. Just like there's nobody. I was reading articles about bubbles, making bubbles with people. I don't trust anybody to make a bubble over here. Nobody's going to want to make a real bubble with me. Because you know what a real bubble is nobody sees anybody else. That's a bubble. Everything else is not a bubble. So it's like, 3 people that only see each other. That's a bubble.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know anybody that would only want to see me. So.
You will. You'll find that one person someday.
Not right now. Not during pandemic.
I was trying to online date, and I sent him our new Christmas song. I haven't heard from him since.
He can go fuck himself.
I don't give a fuck.
Everybody can go fuck himself.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh,
you
God.
cunts. Ooh, that's my favorite word.
It is
Cunt.
not my favorite word.
You don't like the word cunt?
I don't love it. I've never loved it. Well, and spoiler alert, that's what this topic today is about.
Yes. Oh, and if you have any children in the room, listening to this podcast.
If you should probably never have children listening to this podcast. I don't know why you would do that.
Well, they came for the chicken updates.
No, you traumatize your children with the chicken updates. Okay, good idea.
No, yes. So yes, we will
send
be
your children out of the room. Send the chickens and the children out.
That's right, because we're going to be using some profanity.
Surprise, surprise. It's like something new. Is that new? Anyway. But today we're talking about the word cunt.
Cunt. Love it.
We heard the word cunt a lot when we were in Edinburgh.
We sure did.
They don't mind that word. In the UK, that's not a problem.
No, it's a term of endearment over there, which kind of blew my mind, because it's such a bad word here. Such a bad word.
I mean, I don't know if it's a term of endearment.
That's what Ricky Gervais said on a podcast, and I'm going with it.
Okay. I definitely didn't get the sense personally when I heard people use it. It wasn't like, oh, little cunty, my love.
Oh.
It was more like, you stupid cunt. That was how I was hearing it.
Oh, no, I heard that when a woman gives birth to a baby, the doctor goes, look at this beautiful cunt. No?
Is that a Ricky Gervais joke?
No, that's a Marie Anderson joke. Oh, terrible. No, yeah, let's get into it. It's a hot topic still. I mean, it is a word that people do not like.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think it really speaks to this issue of like how language is important. And, what does it mean when you use this word versus that word? What is your intention when you're using a word? What's the context? What's the, again, using cunt in the UK doesn't seem like such a big deal. But coming over here, what that also reminds me of, though, is how I'll never get over how in the UK, pants means underwear. So, like, when you're like, I got to put on my pants, boys are always like, what? Huh? In the UK. They're like, what do you mean? You're not wearing any pants? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm going to put some pants on. And they're like, oh, what? Is that weird? Pants to me is just pants. It's
well,
just like
I think it's strange that they call a jumper a sweater.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a confusion? Didn't we have a confusion when you said something about wear your jumper to a show or something?
Oh, yeah.
And we wore
maybe.
the different costumes.
But that's not because one of us speaks UK English and one of us...
Yeah, no, there's just confusion.
We just wore the wrong thing. That was just our stupidity. Because we're dumb cunts. So Marie found this article called A Brief History of the Cunt. It was on Medium. It is on Medium by Mina Moriarty. And it's a fascinating little read about breaking down this word and where that word came from and all that. And the answer is that they don't really know. But there's some speculation over this word and where it comes from.
Mm-hmm. And beginning in India. Is that correct?
Well, this is where it's hard to, is it that it began in India, or is it that there is this goddess,
right?
The Hindu goddess Kunti. So they think, could it be coming from there potentially? Mm-hmm. But my question about that is like, I mean, I guess it's possible.
Well, here's my theory on that, is that maybe there was this beautiful goddess of sexuality and female freedom and independence and all that sort of stuff. And because it did say a little bit in the article that there were, in Southeast Asia, there were shrines to this goddess everywhere, and they eradicated her. So she's just, excuse me, it's like another example of any sort of stories of women being sexually free. Men are erasing them from the history books.
I also want to, but it's not just men in that case, and I think in like all of these fucking cases, it's Christianity,
right? But who wrote the Bible? Men, and rabbis wrote the Jewish.
No, for sure. But just I think that's also an important point that like there was a time before Christianity where women's bodies were celebrated and women's power was celebrated. And it was, Christianity is one of those moments, I'm sure there's other ones too, but Christianity is a big one, where it was all about shaming women for their bodies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why those temples were then destroyed, was because the Christians came through and said, this is blasphemous. We've got to get rid of this woman and her body.
Well, so diving into the history more of this word, cunt. One of the oldest records of the word, like written word, was actually came from quant, which is spelled Q-U-I-E-N-T. From it's an Old English word, and it meant a clever or curious device or ornament, an elegant, pleasing thing.
Oh,
and that was
nice.
like in like the 13th century or so. So I think that's just a lovely.
That's a good way to. So potentially the word cunt came from that.
Uh-huh.
I remember what was the date on that?
I mean, I think it was 13th century or so.
Okay. And they also mentioned in this article about the Canterbury Tales, which was when?
Mm-hmm.
Like the 14th century. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So around the same time, I remember learning the Canterbury Tales when I was in high school, and we had this teacher who was awesome. He was this gay man who looked like he stepped right out of a Jack Kerouac novel.
Oh,
and he just
so cool.
50s. Sorry, that's my bad.
That's okay.
And I remember he was always the one that would be pointing that shit out in these classes. He'd be like, that word. So like they say in the Canterbury Tales, it was the Miller's Tale in the Canterbury Tales. That was one of the Canterbury Tales if you all remember that story. It's like there's these people that are going on like a pilgrimage, and each of them then tells a story, I guess, to sort of keep each other company. That's sort of the premise of the book.
It's like TV.
And so in the that was like old 14th century TV. And the Miller's Tale, I guess, this Nicholas attempts to seduce the miller's wife, and he says, and of course it's all Old English, and I don't remember how to speak Old English, but it was like privily caught her by the quintin is Queynte, and I remember specifically our teacher being like, what does that word sound like? And we were like, all in height, nobody knew. We were like, I don't know. And they were like, just think, what do you think he would have grabbed her by? And we were like, quarantine, what, quails, queens? And they were like, no. And he's like, it's a cunt. It was like, you're talking about cunts. I was like, oh my God. He was really funny.
Wow.
Yeah. He was also the one that we spent a lot of time in the book Great Gatsby. There's like a scene where the narrator's in an elevator with like an elevator guy who's like not in the rest of the book. He's just in the elevator. And there's a scene where the elevator man like pulls a lever. And we spent a lot of time with him explaining to us that was the narrator giving a hand job to the elevator guy, which is like a real thing people think. But at the time I was like, what? Why is he reading into this so much? But I didn't understand how literature worked. It's fine.
Wow. We did not go into that sort of stuff in my public school.
He was great. He was actually a great, really funny, really cool, really smart teacher.
Wow. That's cool.
Anyway, but I digress. So yes, I had heard about the cunt thing when I was 14 in Canterbury Tales.
Well, in speaking of like keeping with the 13th century, there was a record of a London street called Grope Cunt Lane. And it first appeared in the Oxford English Dictionary, referring to this street basically in like the red light district, but Grope Cunt Lane.
So it could have come from there.
Could have come from there. And then also, which I think is so sad that it's not still here today, but people's names actually back during that time, 12th, 13th century, their names on record have been Wide Cunth, Bell Wide Cunth, Robert Clevecunt, and Ganoka Cuntles.
Cuntles. Why don't they ban the name Dick?
I don't know. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. This is the thing about it, right?
Yes.
I'm interested about, because they were saying like another, looking into this word and languages and blah, and the origin of Latin and all that stuff, is they're saying that another reason that word might be about is because the Latin word for vulva, I guess, is cunus. Cunna. And that word, though, they're saying that's the word for vagina, right? But it's the word cunus means sword sheath, which is frustrating because, again, it just sort of then goes to show that like a woman, a sword is a dick, right? So let's all get on the same page there. Sword is a dick, dick's a sword. So then a vagina would be the sheath of the sword. On the one hand, okay, like they're things that go together, whatever. On the other hand, though, what's the more important, powerful thing there? You know what I mean? It's the sword part. So like the vagina is sort of just like a thing that serves the sword, serves the dick. And that's sort of a frustrating thing. What was confusing about this, though, is that they were saying, well, that's the word for vagina. I'm like, but what if cunnis, come on, like if cunnis is the word for vagina, why wouldn't cunt have come out of cunnis? I mean, it's like, seems so obvious. This is where I'm not very good with like linguistics, because like there's probably a reason why. But anyway, the point is, because that's the argument they were trying to make, was that the word vagina, which is more commonly used, rooted in the word cunnis, means sword sheath, and is less strong of a word for women than the word cunt. But what I mean, but I don't understand why they're not making the connection that cunt.
I wonder
anyway,
when the first record of the word vagina came from.
With the V?
Yeah.
And also, how is the word vagina coming from the root cunnis? This is where
right.
I didn't take Latin in school.
Well, I did, and
so tell me, Marie, please tell me why.
Okay, I will speak to you in Latin. Puella es in villa. That means the girl is in the farmhouse. That's the only thing I learned from Latin.
Oh.
But I also did learn that custard, as we all love custard, is actually a combination of the word cunt and bastard. I don't know what that.
Why?
Well, I don't know why. I don't know.
You know,
it makes me kind of angry.
Like the wrong people to do this episode, because it just annoys me. I'm like, I don't, because the thing is this: when you think about the cunnis thing, right, like with the sword sheath, that shit matters,
right?
It really does matter that like the way then people imagine a vagina is something that serves a penis. Because a sheath of a sword sheath doesn't exist in its own right. It is the thing that takes care of the sword. You know what I mean? So like language matters, and yet we don't know where anything comes from.
Right. No, I know. We were like, let's do the origin story of the C word, but really, I have no idea. There's so many different.
They don't know. They
don't
just
know.
don't seem to really know.
But
There's a lot of
I'd like
speculation.
You're right. But what, to piggyback on what you're saying, it's like, okay, so the parallel words, usually there's like a masculine and a feminine word, right? So like there's prick and then there's cunt. But prick, it can be a silly word. You silly prick. You funny,
right.
You know. It's not as, cunt is I mean, at least in America, it's a really bad word. I would say it's maybe the worst nasty word out there. You know, Hillary Clinton is called a cunt. Like it's to really it's a mean word. It's a weapon.
It's
yes,
weaponized. Yeah.
They use it
and
to
I think
weaponize.
that, I mean, certainly like the N word is also another word that's like
Totally.
extremely offensive.
I would say
and
that's probably a little.
Yeah, that's why we call it the N word and we don't say it, right? So like that's a good indicator. But so there's that too. But certainly like cunt is one of the top in the United States. Like cunt is not a word. I'd be curious, like on TV shows, like you can say fuck, you can say, you know, on like HBO, I guess you can say cunt, but it just depends on the show. Right. And depends on the, you know, but anyway, sorry. But even,
yes. So other parallel words,
better,
so I did watch, I don't even know how to say it. A linguist. Yes. A linguist. I watched one of her videos on the C word, and she made a very good point of like parallel words, feminine versus masculine. And like the word sir and madam. Sir is, you know, we use it all the time. We put it on, you know, and we use madam as well. But madam also has the connotation of like a female owner of a brothel or sex workers or like, you know, and then there's also master and mistress. And those are parallel words, but yet mistress is used to like weaponize women and to say there's sex, you know, they're dangerous if they're sexual or whatever.
Right. Right. I mean, I think this is like one of the big problems we're having just even now in society in terms of how, not just how men see women, but how women see women and how our sexuality is become, you know, it's like that, it ties in then to like kids getting sent home from school because their skirt is like, you know, half an inch shorter than it's supposed to be, but a boy doesn't get sent home if he's sexually harassing his, you know, a fellow student. Right. It's this like women, it just plays into this whole thing of like how women, are considered evil for having a vagina, which they can't control anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like it's something we've decided. And the vagina is not evil, obviously.
Well, Well, this woman also said that it's really hard to insult a man without insulting a woman. So like,
right,
which I think is fascinating. So like bastard or like son of a bitch. The president of the United States loves to say he's a son of a bitch, son of a bitch, son of a bitch, son of a bitch. But whenever you say bastard or son of a bitch, it is meaning like the mother was uncontrollable. She was sexual, uncontrollable, a dangerous, wily woman. And it's, I mean, I know it's language, but these words have meaning and it matters. Right.
And it's also like the throws like a girl thing. You know what I mean? Like how do you insult a sports player? Mm-hmm. You say he throws like a girl or whatever, or you know, I think that's why cunt is not a word that I like for this exact reason, is because it doesn't feel. How do we take it back? You know what I mean? How do you, I think one thing about whore that I don't, because people always accuse of, not always, but sometimes people accuse of stuff like, why are you using that word? And da-da-da. I think there's something about whore that I like to take back in the sense that you're saying that having sex freely is something to be ashamed of. And we're saying, no, not really. No, thanks. Mm-hmm. The thing about cunt is that cunt basically means vagina. And it's just a really like mean, harsh way to say vagina. Mm. And that isn't even an action. Mm. That's just what we have and are. Mm-hmm. So to then say, it's almost like to me saying cunt is a bad word is almost the same to me as saying woman is a bad word. Mm. Because like cunt isn't an action. Mm-hmm. Cunt is a thing that I have. And it's not okay. Mm. You know, whereas something about like whoring, right? This concept of whoring, which when it's usually used towards non-sexual workers, with the idea behind it means that a woman is having sex freely. Mm-hmm. That's an action. Mm-hmm. That's a choice, and I think it's a choice that is absolutely appropriate. Mm. So I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, sure, call me a whore, because like if you have a problem with that, that's your problem. Mm-hmm. But if you're trying to attack me with the word cunt, it just seems weird. It's like you're attacking me for being what I am and who I am fully. Well, I was born woman. Yeah. Right. And so woman is an insult. Like I really struggle with that. Mm-hmm. And it also like, you know, again, and even like when you say someone's a dick, it just doesn't have the same impact.
Right. Well, I think that my love for the word cunt is just coming from like a very, very elementary way of you know, how, you know, it's a bad word and you're not supposed to say it. So I like to say it. But
right.
that's,
sure.
But that's like a silly, you know. And
I mean, as a word with sounds, it has like a very, you know, it's sort of like fuck. Like it has a hard sort of, it's easy to say. It sort of has an impact. You know what I mean?
Right.
The way the word sounds.
Monosyllable.
Like, I understand it. Yeah, I understand that. It's just a word that like, and maybe there's two ways to look at this. One is that like we're so we've been so what is the word, like the puritanized over here in America, that a word like that could just be so offensive. Oh, a woman's body part is so offensive. Like, so that's one way of looking at it. But I think for me, just the way that because I'm American probably too, to me it just feels so like it is weaponizing the female body,
right
when people use it. So it's like but this is where I think like context and
yes, intention,
social, and like also society's acceptance of something matters, because like if the sting of the word is taken out, like it seems to be, at least in the UK, where people are like, what's the big deal, it's not that bad of a word, then it's not weaponized the same way. You know what I mean? But here in the United States, it definitely is it's a one that people really don't like. Right.
Oh gosh. So our Fringe Festival show was called Grand Ole Country, and we spelled it country, as you probably guess. And it was so cute over there. And then when we came back and people saw the posters and stuff, they were like, oh my goodness, my mother especially. I was like, oh my God. Well, so going back to history just a little bit, because I do think it's fascinating how this word did show up throughout history. So, of course, we have like the 13th century, like the name of the street showed up in the Oxford English Dictionary. But then in the 1400s, it was used as a medical term. It showed up in one of like a surgery manual in the 1400s. And all it said was, in women, the neck of the bladder is short and is made fast to the cunt.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's like,
just
if
lovely.
it's just used, yeah. I mean, if the word is used in a way that's just like technical,
Right. It's a scientific.
and it doesn't have the negative connotation attached to it, then
Right.
it's not a problem
Right.
anymore.
So it's a medical term then. Great.
Wouldn't you just love your gynecologist to be like, your cunt's looking great?
Well, this one, the linguist said, or maybe this other video I watched, but some people have referred to gynecologists as cuntsmiths.
I kind of like that.
I do
I'm not
too.
gonna lie.
But they're like, in America, don't ever go to your gynecologist and call him or her a cuntsmith, which I think is funny.
I mean, that's the thing. If the word just is in reference to vagina, that's a different conversation.
Right.
But then if you simultaneously use that word to mean something really bad, that's where it's a problem. Same with pussy, right? If the word pussy is just being used like, oh, my pussy, I have a pussy. Okay, fine. But pussy also means weak man.
Right. Right.
So what the fuck is that about? Like, that's where I get mad about. That's where I don't like that word. I don't like the word pussy if you're using it to say like, don't be such a pussy, you know? And I use it sometimes. I mean, it kind of gets into your, you know, your lexicon, but like I don't like it. I mean, like when you really think about it, it's really fun.
Wait.
But if you say, oh, my pussy, fine, you can say that.
Didn't you text me recently, kind of drunkenly, of just like, I'm not using the word pussy anymore. I'm going to call any weak man a testicle. Or
Probably,
any weakness
yes.
or something.
I probably
It's like
did,
late at night,
Yeah.
and you were so
Fuck
angry. Fuck that! I'm just gonna start
But I mean,
calling. It's true. I mean,
I think I really am going to do that. I think I forgot that I texted that, but it was a great idea that I had when I was drunk in the middle of the night. And yeah, I just like the next time I want to call somebody weak, I'm going to be like, don't be such a little like scrotum.
Scrotum. Yeah.
That was the word. Yeah,
I love
scrotum.
it. And those things are actually very scientifically weak. So might as well.
Very weak and
Yeah.
very dainty and like
Dainty.
delicate.
Yes.
So like if you have to be too delicate, like, oh, just such a little scrotum.
Right.
A pussy
is the
like
miracle of
this-
life. Gives the
also,
fucking...
things go shooting out of it.
Right,
I mean, like
right.
human beings, sometimes multiple. One woman had 8 at one time. I don't know if they came out of her pussy or not. Maybe she had a C-section. That's a lot of babies.
That's a lot of
some
babies.
people, but some, you know,
But
some
that's not
people have
weak.
like 14. No, it's like the opposite of
Right.
weak.
Jesus, yeah.
Someone says you're a pussy, I'll be like, oh, thank you.
Thank
I am
you.
a strong woman. Thank you. But
Well,
like, what is that about? You know
I
what I
know.
mean? That's just a way to be derogatory toward women.
All right, I have another fun little fact for you. And I know you especially wanted to tell you about this one because
Okay.
I know how much you love Scottish folk songs. And especially
oh, yes,
this
I
one.
love a good Scottish. just turn on my Spotify. That was my top 100 or whatever. My top
I know,
of 2020.
I know you love this is your favorite song.
folk music.
But so in 1796, the word cunt showed up in the lyrics of Yon 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 Lassie. You know, your
yes,
favorite.
that's classic. Yep.
But it wasn't spelled out. It was actually C/T. And that was in the lyrics. Okay, but then 1811, Francis Gross he wrote a dictionary of the vulgar tongue or something. I didn't even know this thing existed. Dictionary of the vulgar tongue.
Oh, what year was this?
1811.
Okay.
And he said that the word cunt was a nasty word for a nasty thing.
Fuck him.
Fuck you, Francis Gross.
Go fuck you.
Fucking asshole.
It's not a nasty thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember, Eve Ensler's show, the Vagina Monologues. I believe that there's a monologue about the C word. I think that show came out when I was in college or something. But it kind of really... I don't actually think I saw it in person, but I know that I watched the video of it and then I read the play. But she was just really trying to like reclaim the words, and not make any vagina or cunt or, anything that has to do with the female anatomy, empowering us to
That I can get behind. I think that that's sort of like, I think, again, we've sort of already said this, but that like if you want to call your vagina a cunt, I don't have a problem with that, because that's just another label that you want to give to it, right? It's when you call a person a cunt that becomes a problem, right? Because what you're saying is you're equating that person to what Sherman or whatever his name said was like a nasty, nasty thing. What's his name? Sherman?
Francis Gross.
Yeah, I don't know why Sherman came out.
We'll call him Sherman. It doesn't matter.
1820s Sherman. 1810. But but to me, that's the problem. So like, I think that that's great if we want to just be like, yeah, my cunt, But if you're like, you are a cunt, I'll be like, you're a scrotum. Like, what do you that's where I'm at. Like, that's where I think that we have to just, that's how you really reclaim the word, is you then rebrand it. You rebrand that word, but then you also, the meaning of like pussy, for example, that's just such a good one. Like, let's just not say pussy anymore. Let's say scrotum. That's it. Then we've reclaimed the word pussy. Pussy now means strong person, because now the reason why pussy then means strong is because scrotum means weak, and those are two parallel words. So like, you know what I mean? Like, this is where like, that's how you do it.
So what you're saying is we should come out with our own dictionary next year. The whore dictionary. Whore dictionary.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of like, what would the cunt, there just like isn't a word for a penis that feels like cunt. What would it be?
I mean,
the one that,
prick is the only parallel, but that's not, it's not even close.
Yeah, I guess prick is probably the closest. I don't like the word prick.
I don't
like the word prick because it makes me think of a small pointy penis.
It reminds me of my ex-boyfriend's penis. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I was going to say it reminded me of like a dog dick. Like
right. Well, dog.
That's a little prick. Ew.
Gross. Ew.
Maybe prick is good. Maybe we just have to use it more. Maybe we just have to use it more. That's the problem. We just don't use it enough. And when you say prick, you have to kind of have a gross face on. You have to be like, prick.
Yeah, great.
Ew, yeah. And then you have to kind of vomit in your mouth a little every time. You're such a prick. That would maybe have more impact.
Well, I have to say, one thing I'm really noticing about myself down here in Nashville is that the type of language I use is so different from other people.
What?
So like, even like, I went on a lovely walk with a gentleman from the online dating app, and I just say fuck a lot. I've been in New York City for 15 years. And so I just talk the way I talk. I mean, yeah, I think I have a sailor's mouth. I really do.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought about it until I've been down here, and I just talk naturally. We had like a couple months ago, we had some girlfriends. Oh, actually, well, it was when Katy did the cutting exercise, and we're trying to light, it was Halloween. That's what it was. We're in the backyard with a couple of ladies. And I don't know if I told you this. We're trying to light this fire, the campfire, and the wood is wet. And I go, that wood is as wet as my pussy. Whap. And referring to the Cardi B song, well, this lovely woman that was joining us that evening had never even heard of the wet ass pussy song, let alone WAP. So, and she just goes, whoa, you took it to what are you, and she was so taken aback, and I was just referring to WAP. But I mean, but here's the question. It's like, do you dim your light to like make other people comfortable?
That's so
or
interesting.
Just embrace who you are and find people who, I just couldn't believe that this girl hadn't seen. I think that's my song for 2020, wet ass pussy. And guys, if you're listening to this and you don't know what I'm referring to, you have to watch this music video. Yeah, what's wrong with
you? Yeah, that's a really interesting thing I don't think about much, because I will say one thing about living in New York is that you really just are who you are,
but there's other but you can't just be like, people talk like that in New York, like on the liberal coasts or whatever. You can just get away because there's the rest of the country, and there's millions of people.
Where I don't know. Right. This is where I don't know. Like, because I think on the one hand, I think if I had moved to Nashville and people were like, you can't talk like that down here, I think I would just be doubling down on all my fucks. Like it would be worse because I just am not, like I said, I don't like it when people tell me what to do. But what does that mean then? Like, what does that do?
But don't you feel like that's like that? I mean, just giving an example of like, that's Christianity coming in and saying, nope, you can't be like this. You can't be a free sexual independent, woman. You have to, we're going to write you out of the Bible now, or like change the narrative. And like, I feel like with Southern culture, it's kind of the same. Like,
and middle Americans
yeah.
And honestly, this Republican culture, I mean, I don't mean to make it like political, but it really has become this weird divide too. And like some of that, and it doesn't just have to be Republican, but like a lot of what that middle America, the Trump supporter types are supporting is Christianity. Is like a really, really intense version of Christianity. I mean, if I don't know that I'm a good person to take advice from about this, but if I were you, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah,
I would be who I am.
I'm not,
and I would be able to. And then I guess the other thing is this: who cares if people get uncomfortable?
Right?
Is that the worst thing that happens to them? Is they get uncomfortable?
Right.
Well, then maybe they need to be uncomfortable sometimes. Maybe they need to be more uncomfortable sometimes.
Right.
And I think one of the mistakes that we do make in this country over and over again is trying to make other people more comfortable. And as opposed to saying like, this is the truth. And that's one of the problems that we're having with the Black Lives Matter movement is that it makes white people uncomfortable. And they don't want to talk about it. And it's like, I don't care if you're uncomfortable. You should be uncomfortable.
Right. Right.
So, I mean,
and I'm not going to change my language in order to make you feel more comfortable.
And if anything, I'm going to actually probably because of the way I am, I'll be like, oh, does that make you uncomfortable? Why does it make you uncomfortable that I said I have a wet pussy?
Right.
What about that makes you uncomfortable?
Right.
Because you don't like talking about your pussy? Why are you then judging me for being comfortable with my pussy?
Right.
Why is this, why is this a problem for you? Maybe that's something you need to explore about yourself as opposed to trying to make me feel bad about how I feel good about
my wet ass pussy.
About my wet ass pussy. Because it gets real fucking wet, not too wet, just like perfect wet.
Just a perfect pussy wet.
Yeah, perfect pussy wet. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my pussy.
I'm proud too. I am so proud.
But and I think maybe that's my answer. Is that
what was that again? We've kind of gone.
Continue.
Double down.
Just double down. But also confront.
Confront.
It's when someone tries to once someone feels uncomfortable, shame me. I'm like, oh, why does that make you uncomfortable?
Well, I bet
you're not comfortable because you're not comfortable with your body.
Right. Well, I bet you 9 times out of 10 down here, if I directly said that to somebody, why does that make you feel uncomfortable? I guarantee it'd be because a woman shouldn't speak like that.
And I would say like, well, I would like to challenge that notion.
Yes, I know.
My response would be,
why are you allowed to?
Well, and also I would say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fucking.
Oh, well, if that's your response, this date is over. I'm not interested.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
then we are not on the same page. But you know what I mean? I think that, and again, that might lower the
chances,
amount of people you can meet. But you know what? Who the fucking cares?
There's people. There's definitely people. There's so many. There's so many New Yorkers down here in Nashville.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And everybody from LA, everybody is moving here. It's insane. So I'm sure I'm going to be able to find people I can hang out with.
It's fine.
To speak freely. But I think it is good to know, when that does happen. I like your idea of confronting it head on. Why? Why does that make you feel uncomfortable? If they have a dry ass pussy, then I feel so sorry for them.
Yeah. But even if they have a wet ass pussy too, but they feel ashamed of their wet ass pussy.
Yes, yeah.
Then they shouldn't feel ashamed of their wet ass pussy. I mean, this is our whole point of the reason why we started a band to begin with. Is that my goal, if I were you, wouldn't be to make them feel shame and for feeling embarrassed. It would just be to be like, you should cherish your wet ass pussy. You should feel proud of who you are and what you were born with and how and I don't mean what you were born. I just want to mention for trans people that, like, of course, I don't mean you should be proud of what you were born with if that's not how you feel comfortable. But if you're a cis woman who's living in a conservative town who gets uncomfortable with her sexuality, you should think about that more. And really ask yourself, who told you to be ashamed of it?
Right. And one more thing I do want to talk about is because I hung out with a couple girlfriends by a fire just a couple days ago, and they were kind of talking about the smell of the vagina. and they kind of, both of them started kind of making like gross faces. Let me
No,
just
go ahead.
tell
No.
you. Nope. Oh, I went. I was like,
Good.
and I had to like,
I'm so angry now.
yeah. Oh,
What did
yeah,
they say?
yeah. Well, just that like they, and I think maybe some of them listen to this podcast, so I'm not going to name any names, but of just like, feeling bad for the guy having to go down there to smell that.
Look, if you have a medical problem,
Right.
and something is smelling really, really off, that's definitely something to explore. Don't put a douche in there. Don't try to cover it up. That will make it worse because it is a beautiful, delicate flora fauna balance down there. I don't know what they call it. Some bacterial balance. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
also, have you smelled a man's balls before?
Right. I know.
I mean, there have been, I've been with some men who've been very good at keeping clean, and that is a joy. They are a joy to be with. I've also unfortunately found myself with some gentlemen who don't know how to wash their balls. And nothing smells worse than that. Nothing smells worse than stinky, cheesy balls. Get out of my face with that. And then you're going to tell me you don't want to eat a pussy? Get out of my face with that. I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
my pussy smells great, but I don't
mine
know.
does too. But yes, there are like some bacterial imbalances that a doctor can professionally help with. That's one thing.
And also, and you said don't put anything in there you're not supposed to.
But we have been, and men have made us feel. I mean, I remember the tuna fish shit in high school.
Oh yeah,
I remember they're always referring to the smell of the vagina as tuna. Go fuck yourself. That is not true. That is absolutely not true.
Go smell your own balls.
Right.
Just smell your own balls. That's
right.
all
I know you've tried to suck
say.
your own dick before. While you're down there, take a big whiff and see how terrible that smells. So get the tuna fucking shit out of here. We have got to, and us women, I really, and I wish I had spoken up even, and wish I was louder, but I was just, again, trying to make everybody fucking comfortable or whatever.
I understand.
But like, your vagina does not ever smell like tuna fish. That is not.
If it does, go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
That's the thing.
Go to the doctor. I know. I mean, I wear leggings these days. Like, you got to take a shower. You got to clean. Don't you dare douche. That is not a thing.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is
hygiene
like,
is important. Yes.
Right.
If you go running or something, you know what I mean. If you're working out, you smell
I think
bad.
It's pretty hot.
Then you take a shower.
Though,
Everybody smells.
I love to get all sweaty and then.
And some people love that, so that's not a thing. But yeah, if you need to take a shower, take a shower.
Right.
But
we need to be celebrating.
Yeah,
our beautiful bodies for what they are, and they smell,
and normalize,
and they smell, but they don't smell like tuna fish. They just don't. So get that. Stop talking about that and yell at people if they ever talk about that, because it's wrong.
No, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it makes me very angry.
Well, it just comes into this self-hate thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to have a conversation with your friend about like, hey, my vagina's been smelling weird. Like, what does your vagina smell like? And then you want to talk about it, like, and have like, I think that it's not like we shouldn't talk about it if you have thoughts about it, but don't qualify it with like vaginas are so gross.
Well, let me just tell you, gross. A lot of the times, because I actually did go through with this several years ago, dating a guy for 10 months. He had a dirty dick. And Cardi B talked about this recently on an Instagram story, which I fucking love. When a guy does not clean his genitalia and then has sex with you, it can change the imbalances of your bacteria and make you have problems. So you have to make sure that dick is clean too.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, anything you're putting in there, anything you're putting in there changes the balance. So when you're not, I've noticed that my scents change when I am actively having sex with somebody and when I'm not. So like if I'm not, by the way, when I'm not, I smell amazing. but
it's a
when you
pH
start
balance.
to introduce,
it's fascinating.
And even if it's like just a clean condom, I mean that can also change the balance of your body. So like. It's not you. It's like your environment around you. And you have to, and again, like you said, dirty fingers, get those fucking dirty fingers out of here.
Get out of here. Wash your hands.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Hands. It's like men are going to say that our vaginas smell like tuna fish. Well, if they do smell any different, it's because of their dirty fucking dicks or fingers.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so mad.
That's true. I saw that dirty dick thing that she said, and
But she was like, you better clean your dicks.
Yeah, clean your dick.
Clean your dick. I love that we went from cunt to clean your dick. And that feels very right.
But that's right. That is correct. That is the correct trajectory for this podcast. Absolutely.
Oh,
And
God.
if y'all men out there don't think you have a dirty dick, clean it more. I don't know. It probably needs to be more clean, do you think?
Get some antibacterial soap up in there. That's all I got to say.
Oh, no, don't do that. I don't know. That's
No, it's good. Get some Dial. That's or Lever 2000. I love that stuff. You know
just
me.
like I think just a regular soap is fine. Just use like regular soap. Oh man, no, I mean, and I'm reminiscing about all the dicks I've seen, and some of them were very clean, some of them were not.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's just now I'm having an existential crisis.
I know.
So,
I haven't
anyway.
seen a penis in so long. Anyway,
oh God,
it's fine.
Me neither. It's fine.
Well, this was fun.
Quarantine.
I'm glad that we went in here. We
yeah.
don't know really.
Started with we don't know where the word comes from. We don't understand how those things work, but we know that you should clean your dick.
And that if something is weak, it's called a
scrotum. Don't be a little scrotum. Don't be a scrotum, and review and rate our podcast.
That's right. Oh, and if you want to, enjoy the throes of sex safely, you can purchase them here.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff to spice up your bedroom is even better.
Select almost any one item for 50% off, and then Adam and Eve loads on the free stuff.
Enter offer code HORIO at checkout and get 10 tantalizing free gifts.
A sexy item for him, a special gift for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy.
And 6 free spicy movies.
Ooh. Plus, free shipping.
That's HORIO, WHOREO, HORIO at adamandeve.com. Also, once you pick up that Christmas dildo, listen to our new holiday song.
Yeah, please. We're going to play it out right now. Enjoy, but we also have a video for it. So if you follow us on YouTube, be sure to share it if you want. I think it's great to share it with family or friends who you feel that needs to, lean in and listen to the message that we're singing about.
We don't use the word cunt, so don't worry. You can send it to grandma.
Did you see that troll comment that we got yesterday about it?
No.
Well, something to look forward to.
Great.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Go forth and be merry.
Wash your dick.
It's that wonderful time of year again, but this year's a little bit off. Jingle bells chime